Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. And when your main event for SmackDown Live is essentially a rematch from Money in the Bank, which is a rematch from WrestleMania, which is a rematch of a match that we've seen on Monday Night Raw way too many times, too many that I can't even remember the exact number of times. You know you are in for a long night, and why would you even bother to stick around for the end of this thing? And if you didn't, you're in luck, because unluckily for me, I did stick around to the end of tonight's SmackDown Live, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the SmackDown Live review right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
I want to start off right at the beginning of this show by talking about this 24/7 championship once again. On its second night since its creation, we've seen the champion dressing up in disguise, running around the back, trying to evade any sort of competition, trying to get away from anybody just to hold on to this piece of trash title. And what I want to say to the WWE about this championship is that, let alone the naming of it is fucking ridiculous, let alone the minimalist concept and the choice of color make the look of this thing absolutely horrendous. It looks to me more like something that you would give to the winner of an all-you-can-eat avocado toast championship. And they took a gold record and slapped it on the skin of a couple of avocados, and they came up with the 24/7 championship. Just look at this thing, man. I'm not far off with that little thing that I drummed up there for you guys. Look at this. Look at this piece of crap. It looks like a gold album wrapped on a piece of fucking green skin. And look at the side panels. They're just fucking gold squares. There's nothing even to them. A couple of little grooves embossed in the edges there. Why would I want to fight for this? The big 24/7 in the middle, as if you didn't already know that this was a piece of garbage. You had to make it look even worse. It looks like the sign in front of any local fast food restaurant to let you know that the drive-thru is still open. But this is in fact a WWE championship. And if I were given the concept of this championship and I were given the task of naming it, I definitely would have named it the Television Championship. Now, while this would have still angered a lot of wrestling people out there, because the television championships that I have come across in ECW, WCW, and across other regional promotions has always kind of been focused on the wrestler. It's always been a wrestling sort of championship for the workhorse of the company that's going to perform on every taped or live filmed event that is going to be on television. And that is essentially what you wanted to do with this belt. And I would definitely have called it that if the intention of this belt was not to really be defended in the ring, but to be defended in backstage skits, in comedy segments. Then the Television Championship is the perfect name for this fucking ridiculous belt. And let me show you, while we're talking about belts, let me show you this belt. Do you see this belt? Some of you guys know what this belt is, okay? This belt has not been featured on this channel in a long time because the show, unfortunately, had to be canceled. But this is a belt that I came up with. It costs about maybe 15 to 20 bucks. It's made out of cardboard. You see all the little rhinestones and the gemstones. We got a little metallic stuff going on. It's all construction paper, all put together with a bunch of trash that I picked up at my local Michael's craft store. And this, while its actual retail value is very low, is very valuable to me sentimentally. But regardless of what it's made of, this belt that I'm showing you right now is worth a whole lot more than the 24/7 championship in the WWE. All it did tonight was really serve to show people just how bad the WWE has gotten. They have created a championship that means nothing to be nothing more than a run-on joke. And you got R-Truth all night running away from all comers with Carmella on his back at points. And all I could see is at some point Carmella is going to turn on R-Truth and take that championship from him, because she's going to be the only one that can get close to him, much like Jon Snow was the only one that can get close to the Mother of Dragons. Fucking ridiculousness running rampant on SmackDown Live tonight, and I just had to get that off my chest, because the fucking 24/7 championship is dead to me. It's as dead as disco, and there is no coming back. There's no way they could rectify that, and I can't believe that if it was in fact intended to be the Hardcore Championship was a belt that was all broken. It was smashed up, it was run over by a truck, it was duct taped and masking taped together and written on with a Sharpie pen. And that title has more value than this fucking new shiny avocado belt that nobody wants. Nobody should want. Sami Zayn didn't even want it. Just like last night, they ran right past Baron Corbin and Bobby Trashley. They didn't give a shit about this belt. Tonight they pulled the same exact skit, the Benny Hill skit, where they got the whole gathering geese of fucking men just running past him. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody of note gave a shit. Only all the jobbers on the fucking card are running after this thing. And Drake Maverick, a manager for some reason. He wants the 24/7 title. Who gives a shit? While we're talking about Sami Zayn, let's talk about fucking Sami Zayn for a minute. Why is he even on SmackDown Live tonight? Did he not just get decimated by Braun Strowman last night? Tonight he's showing up on SmackDown Live without any wear and tear, without any sign of effects from facing the monster among men. Being chased all over the arena last night, being brutalized by the biggest man on the roster, and tonight he's showing up fighting Kofi Kingston, the WWE champion. What? This is the same Sami Zayn that on Sunday was strung up upside down by a mystery attacker, who we're all going to assume by now is Brock Lesnar, and then shows up on Monday Night Raw. He fights Braun Strowman, and now today, why is he on SmackDown? This fucking wild card rule, again, is just an excuse for them to do things on the fly, to change things as they go, because they don't know what the fuck they are doing. And Sami Zayn showing up tonight is a big, big error and a huge inconsistency in the storyline. And what the fuck does he care what Kevin Owens is doing? They're on two separate shows. Oh, but because of the wild card rule, he can go help his friend. Why? Last time I checked, they weren't even friends. Until all of a sudden, now we're going back. Why are we going back to old stories? Why aren't we creating new things for Sami Zayn to do? Why wasn't Kevin Owens the one more involved tonight with Kofi Kingston? Not that I wanted to see him in a rematch, but at the very least, should be at least the focal point of the story going on. Is he not the villain? Oh, wait, the new villain of the story is Dolph Ziggler, right? Oh, yeah. Everybody got all excited. Look, Dolph is back. He hasn't been around since the Royal Rumble. Who gives a shit? For a minute, I was mildly intrigued, because I thought something big was coming. I thought something Big E was coming, and I thought for sure that by the end of this night, Big E Langston was going to give us a swerve and turn on his New Day brothers, having that whole little leg injury thing in the back where they found Big E sitting on the floor, grasping at his leg, blaming Kevin Owens. I thought that was all going to be a ruse, man, and that Dolph Ziggler was going to be involved with Big E Langston. Oh, well, why would he do that? That wouldn't make any sense. Yes, it would make sense, you fucking idiot. Don't tell me it wouldn't make sense, because I know what I'm talking about. If you know anything about about Dolph Ziggler, you know that when he first came up to the WWE, and in fact the first time he won Money in the Bank, who was by his side? AJ Lee and Big E Langston. Big E made his debut alongside Dolph Ziggler. They have a long-standing history. It would make perfect sense for Big E to be the one that is jealous of Kofi Kingston's success, turns on the New Day, and gets himself some backup in the form of his old pal Dolph Ziggler. That would have made much more sense. It would have been much more intriguing, and it would have been nice to have that teased along and told in a compelling storyline. But instead, what do we get? We get about a half an hour later, Dolph Ziggler coming out to explain his actions. They couldn't even let this wait till next week. Not that it was going to be a big bombshell like I just suggested, but they couldn't even have let this wait till next week. They had to blab it all out tonight. So Dolph Ziggler comes out and essentially starts crying to everybody. Oh, it should have been me. I should have been the one that was picked. He just came out and they chose the easy, lazy storyline of Dolph Ziggler's a jealous bitch and now he's whining like a baby. Literally almost in tears on the stage, giving this heartfelt promo. And then you fans will love me. It should have been me. It should have been me. You don't think people feel that way? Oh, it should have been me. The guy just fucking hit the lotto for $400 million. That should have been me. Don't sit here fucking crying about it. You go out and you play again and you hope you fucking win. You go to work every day. Some other guy gets promoted over you. You're gonna come home and say, "Oh, it should have been me. It should have been me. I'm gonna make the boss love me." What? It happens to us every day. Is that what you're gonna do? We're supposed to get behind Dolph Ziggler because he's sad. Dolph Ziggler comes out, "Oh, you look so sad. Why you crying, Dolph? Why you crying, bro? What's the matter? So sad, bro?" The hell out of here. Dolph Ziggler can take his fucking fake tears and go swim in his pool that he's probably having built with that fat contract he just signed to be trapped in this prison known as WWE for the next couple of years. And if this is the best they can come up with, then we are in for a long and arduous 2019. I told you guys last night, we are solidly on the road for 2019 being the worst year in Monday Night Raw history. It seems to be the exact same case as they're going parallel down the same road on SmackDown Live. And how could you tell me they're not going down the same road when they booked the two women's champions the exact same way they booked the two men's champions from last night's show? Well, what are we going to do? We got Bayley, the new champion. Should we focus on her? Should we do something interesting? Nah, you know what? Fuck it. We'll do the same thing we did last night. We'll take Becky Two Belts, who only has one belt now, and we'll keep her near the other belt, so maybe we could still call her Becky Two Belts. We'll make her make an unnecessary sign of aggression towards her best buddy and her former friend and the Four Horsewoman, Bayley, because she's so upset that she lost her second belt. She's not content enough to just be the champion of Monday Night Raw. And we'll have this manufactured tension between the two of them. And then we'll put them in a tag match like we did with AJ and Kofi. With Seth and Kofi last night. We'll just do the same thing, and we'll just pick any two random girls, and we'll throw them out there. How about Vince McMahon's two favorites? Two people Vince McMahon loves that everybody else hates. You know, like we did with Corbin and Lashley. So who can we take? Well, Charlotte and Lacey Evans make sense. Not everybody hates Charlotte. I don't hate Charlotte. I don't hate Charlotte. But I don't love seeing Charlotte in the ring with Becky Lynch anymore. I would have much rather them start something forward with Bayley and Charlotte. Something away from Becky Lynch. You don't need Becky over here just because of that wild card rule. You're doing shit for the sake of doing it, or because you lack any creativity and can't figure out another thing to do with Charlotte and Becky that you have to have them in the same match. Even though they are now distinctively on two separate brands, we're going to take the wild card and we're going to keep Charlotte with Becky on Raw, and we're going to keep Becky with Charlotte on SmackDown because wild card, bitches! How can you tell me it's not the same show when all we get is fucking Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon over and over and over again? Shane McMahon friggin' in the main event again. Yes, he was on the outside, but he was in the main event segment, which that was the only difference. That was the one difference between this encounter between Roman and Elias than all the others we have already seen. And is that supposed to sell me on it? You guys on this channel, if you're fans of this channel, you know how I feel about fucking Shane McStumpman. I am so done with it. And the fact that he shifted his attention from the mid-card Miz to the main event Big Dog only means it's going to get worse. I'm so mad that he punched my dad still. Why? It makes no fucking sense. And like I said, the minute you found out that this was your main event, I know just like me, you wanted to turn it off. Most of you probably did. But like I said, lucky for you, I didn't. Let's go down this piece of shit card. We started this evening with a celebration for Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston and the return of Big E Langston, which he's no longer Langston. I have that in my head because I just was talking about him when he was Big E Langston. But Big E was supposed to come back, and they bring out some guy in a blanket that wasn't Big E. When they made the reveal, he was definitely not Big E. He was about 200 pounds lighter. He was about 2 shades of brown lighter, and he just was absolutely not Big E. And sure, I chuckled for a minute, but then I'm like, what am I watching? Come on, let's speed this up. Let's get this show on the road. And then Big E finally comes out. We go to the ring for some comedy, because that's what the New Day does on SmackDown Live. Gotta have the New Day comedy hour. Big E was very amusing. There was reference to his fatal attraction of sorts with Becky Lynch's mom, and it just was a little bit getting off the rails, but Kofi Kingston reined him back in. He's like, guys, they want me to be serious, so let's get serious. He starts talking about Brock Lesnar. He starts talking about Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens comes out standing on the stage with a microphone, but Sami Zayn quickly follows behind him. There's a whole back and forth between them, and next thing you know, we have this match between Sami Zayn and Kofi Kingston, and I really didn't give a shit. It didn't make sense to me why Sami's still being involved. Why did you bother moving him to Monday Night Raw if his main focus was going to be on SmackDown Live in a much bigger storyline on SmackDown Live than just getting fucking thrown around like a rag doll on Monday Night Raw? Then we start with this 24/7 nonsense. We go to the back. Carmella's backstage with Drake Maverick. Everybody is looking for R-Truth, but Carmella isn't telling anybody what's going on. Finally, Carmella gets to confront R-Truth. She pulls him into a room, tells him he's got to get a disguise or whatever. He's got this fucking blonde wig on, and he looks like something out of my nightmares. If you've seen this guy, if you work for the WWE and you've seen this thing, this R-Truth in a blonde wig walking down the hallway, you know that it's R-Truth in a blonde wig. There is no disguising it. So everybody that was fooled by this costume is a fucking idiot. Or was at least written to look like a fucking idiot. Somehow or some way or another, I believe Carmella is going to end up being the one to take this title from R-Truth. And while that might be funny to watch, I don't find it really that amusing if it happens. And anyway, I am not a big fan of the intergender stuff, and if the WWE is going to find a cutesy way around it with this, it's just going to make this belt even worse than it already is. No disrespect to the women, but it's just got to be, it's one or the other. You can't do both. Come on. Ali versus Andrade in what was the most impressive match of the night. One of the more impressive matches we've seen on SmackDown in a while. This definitely needed a little bit more time. It was just a little bit too quick, but these guys really went out there and put on a great show, and your winner would be Ali at the end of this thing, which again, to me, it's like a double-edged thing. You can't have Andrade win every single one of his matches, but you also can't have him lose as many times as he's been losing. And while it's great to see Ali get a big win following Money in the Bank, it would have been much better to see these two fight to maybe a count out or a double disqualification or some sort of a schmoz finish so that we have a reason to get invested in these two guys maybe fighting again. Maybe start a program. Look at what they did tonight. Wouldn't you want to see these guys go at it again? Build up something interesting. Have Andrade keep attacking Ali now based off of the fact that he won. Build this thing up leading into SummerSlam where you can have a nice big match between the two of them. Maybe with implications towards a championship where the winner can go on to challenge for the Intercontinental title at the next pay-per-view. Whatever it is. Make shit interesting. Don't just have Ali go against Andrade now next week on SmackDown and have Andrade get his win back right away. That's not how professional wrestling stays interesting, and that's not how it's supposed to work. That's how the WWE works it, but that's not how it's supposed to be. They start to hype what's still left in this match, in this show tonight, which are the matches Sami Zayn versus Kofi Kingston, Elias versus Roman Reigns, and Becky Lynch and Bayley versus Lacey and Charlotte Flair. We go back to this Carmella R-Truth situation backstage. He's now wearing makeup with the wig. Truth says he feels like something's missing from his look. She hands him a fucking bra. She hands him a bra. So now he's got to go and stuff his fucking chest with toilet paper. Like, this is what the 24/7 championship was created for. For R-Truth to stand there and put on a fucking bra on the USA Network. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're talking about a championship. These are the type of shenanigans that are expected of you, I guess, when you are given the 24/7 title. No. Mandy Rose versus Carmella. This was a waste of everybody's time. All of this was done only to have chaos ensue for the 24/7 championship. We have the B team coming out. Matt Hardy's out there for some reason. I don't know why. Carmella is dealing with Mandy Rose's partner, Sonya Deville, on the outside. That's how fucking ridiculous this was. It doesn't even make sense in my notes. Like, it's just a whole bunch of mishmash that is nothing more than a waste of our time. The referee called for the bell, made this match a no contest due to all of the people fucking running around the ring, I guess. And then after the match, everybody's chasing Truth around in the Benny Hill skit of the night. Kayla Braxton is backstage with the new SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley. She asks her about her big win this past Sunday. Bayley says it was a brutal night, but she would do it again in a heartbeat. She goes on about proving all of her doubters wrong. Kayla asks Bayley about the champion versus Bayley the champion versus Bayley the hugger. Bayley says she's moved past all the hugs and she wants everyone in the locker room to bring their very best. We go back to the fucking 24/7 nonsense. Carmella and R-Truth running backstage. They run into the women's locker room where the chicks start screaming because a man dressed in drag just ran into the locker room. Truth continues running around with a large group of superstars right behind him. Sami Zayn watches them run by and don't give a shit because he knows that title is a piece of trash. And then we go to commercial. We come back from the break and Elias is outside standing on top of a fucking truck playing his guitar, and Roman Reigns, this idiot Roman Reigns, actually stops. He stops and listens to this man's whole song. I don't know about you, but if I'm walking into work and somebody's standing in the parking lot of my store and they're on top of the fucking dumpster and they got a guitar out and they're singing a song about me and they are fucking making fun of me and just trying to get my goat, I am not going to stand there and stare at the guy and be like, is he singing about me, bro? No, he's clearly fucking saying lines with your name in it. Why would you stand there and listen to the whole fucking rendition? Why wouldn't you just keep walking? And be like, yeah, whatever, bro. You're the one on top of a fucking truck that you have to get down now, you dumbass. I don't know how you got up there, but have fun up there. I'm going inside and I'm getting ready to kick your fucking ass. I mean, at the very least, I would have said something like that. I'm not going to stand there like a dumbass, listen to him run me down in a terrible song, and then walk into, like, oh, I can't believe he just sang that about me. I'm the big dog. How could he say these things? What the fuck is he standing around listening to this shit for? Sami Zayn versus Kofi Kingston was a decent match, as you can imagine. Sami Zayn, on many occasions, was impressive. Once again, the finish of this match would come as Sami ducks the Trouble in Paradise. Kofi would then counter the Blue Thunder Bomb and connect with the Trouble in Paradise the second time to get the pin over Sami Zayn. Kofi Kingston with the win, but that is not the story. The story is after the match. Kofi takes the title, raises it in the corner. We go to the replays, and suddenly Paul Heyman appears on the ramp with Brock Lesnar's Money in the Bank briefcase, taunting Kofi Kingston as he continues to celebrate, and then out of nowhere comes Dolph Ziggler making his attack, incapacitating the champion, and I'm thinking to myself, we're having a cash-in. We're having a cash-in right now. Why else would fucking Paul Heyman be standing there with a briefcase and then have this attack? So then there was another part of me that thought for a minute, oh, maybe Dolph Ziggler is the new Paul Heyman guy. And he's setting up Kofi Kingston for the Beast. And maybe he's going to be part of something here. But that's not what we got. Should have been me. It should have been me. I straightened my blonde hair and I dig Motley Crue, and then chicks think I'm hot, and I'm really a great wrestler, but nobody likes me. Give me a fucking break. The attack by Dolph Ziggler was very vicious, and it went on all over the arena at points. Kofi Kingston needing to be stretchered out, and the whole time I'm like, this would be the most opportune time for the Beast to just come out and pick the bones of Kofi Kingston. Not like he needs to. We're talking about Brock Lesnar, and we're going to have people go, well, he's going to want to take on the champion at 100%. Why? Why not have a fucking easy night? That's the point of the Money in the Bank briefcase. To take advantage of the champion in an unfortunate situation. One that favors you. And that was the biggest situation that could have ever favored Brock. To just come and scoop this title up out of the hands of Kofi Kingston, and there would have been nothing he could have done about it. But Paul Heyman came out and makes the threat, then doesn't follow through. Probably because Brock wasn't there. Ridiculous. And now we also know, like we talked about, Dolph Ziggler's turn to the dark side, or reason for attacking Kofi, really made this even more lackluster than it came off in the beginning. Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley and Becky Lynch. You did not miss anything here. This match, if anything, was a little bit too long. How many times are we going to have to see the Vince McMahon's greatest hits, clones, twins with the giant tits? I don't know, but I'm already over it. These girls are on separate brands. The wild card, this is another example of how it's just fucking everything up and making everything feel the same. Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans feel the same as it is. Having them together on a team that is not actually a team just for the sake of Vince, I guess, I don't know, just is overkill, and it's too much for me, and I just need them to be more creative. I need them to be more caring, especially when it comes to the women. This fucking women's division has been just so awful. Just as bad as the tag team divisions, and if anything needs to be shaken up, it's those two things, but we are on the same path. We're on the same path we always take them. In this case, we are literally having the same matches week after week after week again. And it's ridiculous. Back to the 24/7 bullshit. Carmella and R-Truth running through the back again. The Truth is begging her to help him get out of there. And then the B team shows up. And tonight on SmackDown Live, the part of the Holly Cousins will be played by the B team. As the B team find themselves in an advantageous situation. And Bo Dallas gets a pin on... I almost said Kofi Kingston on R-Truth, but it would be broken up by Curtis Axel, and the next thing you know, they're standing there like, what are you doing? No, what are you doing? I want to win. No, I want to win. And the first thing I thought of is Bob Holly and Crash Holly wrestling for the Hardcore Championship, and doing the exact same skit all those years ago. Sometimes what old should remain old. And it just, with the rules of the belt being what it is, taking the hardcore element out of it, it just makes it seem so unnecessary, doesn't it? There's a bunch of, it's the filler championship. It's just to put filler on TV, to fill time and give people that aren't going to be on the show a spot to actually be on the show. Unnecessary. Dolph Ziggler comes out. This is where he explains his actions. He takes a mic and comes to the stage. He says he would boo himself too. Oh, well, I would boo me too. Why would you ever fucking say that? You didn't come off by the end of this thing as being ashamed of what you did, so why would you be booing yourself if all you want is for people to like you? Idiot. Bad writing. Bad writing here. He says this goes back to when Ali went down and Kofi Kingston stepped up and knocked it out of the park and made it all the way to WrestleMania and won the championship, and it should have been him. Kofi Kingston finally became an overnight success after 11 years. That's not an overnight success. And I know the saying, but it seems kind of stupid. Oh, well, he's worked for 11 years and then he became an overnight success. He was not an overnight success. I hate that terminology. Nobody is an overnight success. Just because you suddenly find yourself planted in the main event doesn't negate all of the work you put into getting there and doesn't make you an overnight success. One of those things that just fucking irks me when people say it about anybody anywhere in the world. If you fucking became famous tomorrow, that doesn't mean you're an overnight success. It means you did something that up at this point finally culminated to a tipping point that put you over the edge and all of your hard work has finally paid off. Overnight success. And then to make it even worse, Dolph Ziggler lays down the challenge. He needs to be the one to beat Kofi Kingston because it should have been him in the first place, and he's going to do it at the Super Showdown. So now I can care even less about this match. Not only are they starting this feud, they're starting it to end it in only 2 weeks. So what are the odds that say Dolph Ziggler loses to Kofi Kingston and then just disappears back to the comedy club scene? I got my money on that. Then we're going to hype the Super Showdown. And they are so bad and so inept and so just unprepared for tonight's SmackDown Live that instead of getting a segment for somebody else, instead of giving us another singles match, instead of focusing on something that is happening today, we need to pump and hype a match between Randy Orton and Triple H. And the fact that these two guys haven't even crossed paths in the last year or two is very telling. And the fact that we had a promo segment that highlighted their entire rivalry, which I believe ended in 2012. And everything that we seen in that promo did nothing to excite me for this match coming up, but it did get my blood going because it reminded me of the good old days. When storytelling was great. When they cared about the message they were sending. When they wanted good ratings. When they wanted great matches and they wanted things to feel like wrestling. That might not be the right way to put it, but that's the way I feel. And then when it was over, all it really did by the time this promo package for Randy and Trips was over was serve as a reminder as to just how bad everything has gotten now. And how we have fallen so far to this point, I will never know. And to prove just how bad it is, they go from this segment that made you have all the feels and made you long for the days when you loved pro wrestling to the main event of Roman Reigns versus Elias. It took up about 10 minutes of our time, and it was exactly what you would expect it is. Elias getting a few shots in here and there. Shane McMahon giving him the advantage at points by trying to intervene, but they would both be denied as Roman Reigns would deliver a Superman punch and a spear and get the win over Elias for the 15,000th time. And then after the match, Shane gets in the ring, starts to beat down Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes back from it, as you could imagine, because it's only fucking Shane McMahon we're talking about. drops Shane O'Mac with a Superman punch, and then gets his teeth kicked down his throat because, oh, we only had 3 people from Raw show up. We forgot the 4th person in the fucking wild card. So enter Drew McIntyre with 5 seconds left in the show to kick Roman Reigns in the face, stand tall with Shane McMahon over the fallen body of the big dog, and SmackDown Live goes off the air. And I feel like SmackDown Live is going to be off the air permanently if the WWE continues to pump out this kind of a product when it moves to Fox. I don't know what kind of fine print is in that fucking deal that may prevent them from doing anything drastic within the first couple of years, but you can bet your ass if this continues after they switch to the new network, that new network is going to be looking for any way possible to get this show off of their fucking channel because this is fucking horrible. This is some of the worst writing and the worst wrestling show I have ever seen. The WWE, the pinnacle of the business, supposed to be the best of the best. Yet they give us the worst wrestling product on the planet. Why do you keep watching them? Because I love wrestling. That's my answer. Because I love wrestling. I love good wrestling. I love bad wrestling. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. And if you had the balls to do so, I encourage you to try to start your own channel and give your opinions to the world. You might find an audience as awesome as mine, which is not possible because I have the absolute best fans in the world. And I want to thank all of you guys that have joined us this weekend with a huge influx of subscribers thanks to the Money in the Bank weekend. Thank you all for becoming part of my family here on Sledgehammer TV, and you have a mission now to tell the world and bring more people to join in on the fun, because when you want your entertainment news and your professional wrestling reviews bullshit free and full of truth and justice, Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. So if you are not one of those that have joined so far, this would be the time for you to hit that subscribe button right now and join one of the almost 1,500 plus. I have a feeling when I sign back into YouTube to upload this video, we will have hit 1,500 subs. If that's not the case and you are number 1,500, please feel free to let me know in the comments section down below, and you may get a special shout out. And if in fact there is already 1,500 plus of you, that is just going to be an amazing night for us, and I can't thank you guys enough again. But be one of those 1,500 plus, and let's help us get to 2,000 as quickly as possible. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing on this channel. Hit that like button if you enjoyed anything we said or you agreed with anything we said tonight. Hit it if you don't like me. I don't care. Just hit that like button. It helps this video get out there, and we have had a tremendous week with the channel, and we want that to continue, and you hitting that like button definitely will help, and sharing this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they hate the shit out of that Avocado Toast Championship. You know where to send them. They will have a new home and be part of one of the biggest and most everlasting forces in all of sports entertainment. My name, ladies and gentlemen, is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us all weekend long for the Money in the Bank festivities. We got a whole lot more coming at you, so make sure you don't miss a thing. Thank you once again for being a part of Sledgehammer TV. You Sledgeheads are awesome. I love you so much. Don't forget to check out everything else we did all week long. 2 WWE 2K Money in the Bank ladder match simulations, the Game of Thrones series finale review. You want to talk about disappointment? There's another big one. You want to go find out what I had to say about that? That'll be in the annotations up above. And if you have for some reason missed the hottest wrestling video we have ever posted in its first 24 hours, we have already eclipsed 5,000 views, which is an unprecedented thing for wrestling videos on this channel, and you guys made it happen, and let's continue. If you missed it, it is there right now. The biggest, baddest, everything wrong with Money in the Bank pay-per-view review right here on Sledgehammer TV. Go check it out because everybody's watching it apparently. You don't want to be the only one missing out. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.